I believe that Uncut Gems is the most stressful movie that I've ever seen. This movie evoked true emotion out of me. Like the stress, the anxiety, the worry. Those are feelings that I was actually experiencing while watching it. And I'm sitting on the couch and my heart's racing. I'm intently just focused on what's on the screen, which, most movies you're focused, but this one I'm just like glued to the TV. Like I cannot take my eyes off of it. I was so drawn into the movie that this was easily the fastest 2 hours that I've spent watching a movie maybe ever, because I think the film's transition from scene to scene was just phenomenal. And I saw it initially when it came out 2019, 2020, but then I recently just rewatched it a few days ago, and I'm just like, wow. But the driving force that makes this the most stressful movie that I've ever seen is simple. It is the overstimulation that you receive the entire movie. So from the back and forth talking and dialogue in virtually every scene, then you get the flashy and extravagant materialism of just living in NYC and trying to keep up with the Joneses, and then the drama between characters. And there's a lot of characters, even though the majority of them are side characters or just kind of appear, disappear as quick as they came, but there's always drama. There's I owe you money, there's I'm giving you a favor, there's this and that. There's always something that's stimulating your mind that you're like, oh, how is Adam Sandler going to get out of this dialogue, this situation at the moment? And sure, it's all a lot to digest initially, but if you really pay attention, there's this constant, subtle background music that slowly ticks away at your subconscious throughout the entire movie. So it's most obvious in the opening scene as well as the closing scene, but if you pay attention, it reappears throughout the movie, sometimes incredibly softly, sometimes it's flirting with your attention, with your ear's attention at least, but this slow ticking away of your ear works up to your mind, and you'll be watching just a slower scene, a slower dialogue scene, and you're almost worked up a bit. And at first, I didn't really understand what that was, but on the second watch of this movie, I was able to pick up that there's this little ringing sound through, I want to say, at least 60, maybe 70% of the movie, which is insane. Like, if it was any louder and you could hear that for 70% of the movie, you'd be like, who directed this? What is going on? This sucks. But the way that it was orchestrated in this movie, it was very tastefully done, and it stressed me out the entire time. I just hear this little ringing in my ear, and it's stressful and it pissed me off. But if a movie can make you feel like that, you almost got to tip your cap. So let's talk about the man of the hour, Adam Sandler. So before this movie came out, we all knew him for those family comedies. Sometimes they'd get a little raunchy, but they were usually just cheesy. Grown Ups, Click, Happy Gilmore. He's got a ton of them, and they all kind of follow that same model. Just a few liberties here and there, but for the most part, you know what to expect from an Adam Sandler movie. And listen, this was all but what we expected. It was very different from what we have seen from Sandler. But with that being said, he did an absolutely phenomenal job. I don't think I could have lived his character's life for 10 minutes. It was just surprising how the character stayed alive for as long as he did. But it was inevitable that the character was gonna inevitably die an early death in this type of lifestyle, because he's live fast, die young type of thing. And Adam Sandler portraying a guy that I just described with an insane lifestyle, with 2 houses, 2 wives, it probably would have been 2 families had he survived the final scene. And this dude, listen, I love the story, I love the character, but it almost made me like Adam Sandler more, because I'm not really an Adam Sandler guy. He's good, he does his job well, but it's just a little too corny for me. But this, I was like, oh, we get an entire another dynamic version of this guy, which I personally didn't know he had, but he put it on screen, and he got robbed by not getting any awards won. He got nominated, but he didn't win anything for this, which I thought he should have raised hell over that. And Adam Sandler in this movie is the main driver in it being a stressful masterpiece. Dare I say tragedy, because obviously he does get killed at the end, but it's just this tragedy of wanting something. He climbs so hard and so high to get what he wants, and when he finally gets it, it's all stripped away. So all that work and all that stress was for nothing. But he's absolutely the one that applies the most pressure when it comes to adding a stressful atmosphere. Because just look at his facial features, look at how he's dressed. Even though he tries to appear like he fits in, he's always got baggy clothes on, or maybe he's got wrinkles, and he's sleeping on the couch. He's doing everything he can to exhaust himself and to push him and his body to his limits. But I can't forget, I gotta show a ton of love to Lakeith Stanfield. He does an amazing job in this movie. He plays a great middleman that is ultimately pressured to become a scumbag. So obviously his character goes out, gets in the scene, tries to find potential clients for Adam Sandler. He'll bring them to the jeweler, and then obviously he gets a cut. So there is a business partnership there between them, but he gets pushed to his limits. And I would like to believe that he was a relatively good guy, that he wouldn't be one to backstab. But in this movie, he folds under pressure that pretty much no one was going to be able to withstand. So Lakeith did an absolutely amazing job. And don't look now, but he's slowly becoming one of the best supporting actors of this generation. So obviously he made his big break in Get Out. Then he had a smaller but still powerful role in Knives Out. And then he played a young Snoop Dogg in Straight Outta Compton. And then this movie, listen, if he better be on your radar, because he does have good lead acting experience. But as a supporting actor, listen, this guy, he's got it. So I just hope that we can continue to see him just prosper and shine. And real quick, also got to give a shout out to Kevin Garnett. He did great for an athlete, because stereotypically athletes just suck at acting, but he did solid. And it's probably because his natural demeanor is just ideal for a high stress movie like this. So for him, he probably didn't have to do much acting. He was just kind of being himself. And then Julia Fox, she did all right, but we could have seen a number of different actresses perform how she did, if not better. And then The Weeknd, he didn't have a whole lot of screen time, but if he was given a little more opportunity, he might have been able to shine. So listen, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about when I say a stressful movie. If you haven't, I urge you, please watch it, because you're going to feel stuff you never felt in a movie.